So you want to hire an employee in France? At my Payroll Pro France, one of the first questions we always get is how much does it cost to hire an employee in France? In this video, we will be discussing this topic in detail. We will also cover questions such as what impacts employer contributions in France? Is there a ceiling on social contributions? And can labor cost be optimized? Salut, bienvenue, willkommen zu unserem YouTube-Kanal. I'm Daniela Recksiedler from my Payroll Pro France, and we provide payroll and HR solutions to international companies like yours. In France, for a full-time employee, you should expect the following rates. For an employee earning between 20 and 32,000, the rate varies between 3 and 37%. For an employee earning between 32 and 49,000, you should expect about 35 to 38%. And for an annual salary exceeding 49,000, the rate is about 41 to 46%. This rate comprises the employer social contributions, payroll taxes, as well as mandatory insurances like an additional healthcare. So we know you expected a rate a lot more precise than that. To give you a better understanding, I would like to talk about the variables impacting the total rate. First of all, there are the company characteristics. Some rates will increase once a certain headcount is reached. Then there is a collective bargaining agreement that can have an impact on certain mandatory insurances. There's also the occupational risk associated with your business activity that will have an impact on the work accident contribution. And lastly, whether your company is a local French company or a foreign company, as exemptions on training taxes apply to foreign companies. There are also the employee characteristics, namely the status of your employee, as there are some additional contributions that apply to so-called cadre employees, which include executive level staff as well as highly educated staff with a certain level of responsibility. Lastly, and most importantly, there is the salary level of your employee, meaning your employee's gross salary compared to the French minimum salary. This element actually has the most significant impact on the total rate for two reasons. First of all, there is a relief on social contributions for lower paid employees. So the relief is the most significant for an employee earning the French minimum salary, and it progressively decreases until 1.6 times the French minimum salary is reached. Second of all, there are additional contributions for highly paid employees. So an employee earning 2.5 times the French minimum salary is subject to an additional contribution of 6%, which is then calculated on the total salary. So this is why an employee earning 49,000 euro a year or more is subject to very high contributions. With these many variables impacting the employer rate, the only way of obtaining a precise rate for your unique case is a cost estimation. I will leave our contact details in the description box in case this is something you are interested in. Now, with employer cost being so high in France, you probably wonder whether there is a ceiling on social contributions and payroll taxes. In many countries such as Germany, there is a maximum wage that is subject to contributions, and beyond that, there are no more contributions to be paid. In France, however, even though a social security ceiling exists, it does not quite have the same implications for two reasons. First of all, many contributions are due on the total salary. Second of all, for the contributions that are actually limited, the limit is set so high that it's rarely reached. To give you an example, the complementary pension contribution of about 15% is no longer due on the salary exceeding about 330,000 per year. So with the ceiling set so high, it is fair to say that it does not have a major impact on the total rate. To recap, the employer rate depends on a variety of elements, with the salary level of your employee having the most significant impact. And even though a social security ceiling exists in France, it does not quite have the same implications as in other countries. Now, with the labor cost being so high in France, you probably wonder whether it is possible to optimize employer contributions in France. There is some potential for optimizing labor costs in France. You could set up optional benefits which are exempt from social contributions and payroll taxes. These have to be offered either to all or to a certain group of employees. To give you some ideas, you could set up restaurant tickets that employees can use to pay meals, or you could increase the employer participation to the healthcare insurance from the mandatory 50% to 100%, or you could set up a profit-sharing agreement. These are just some examples. Actually, in France, there are a lot of optional benefits that can help to optimize labor cost. Going into detail on these topics would be far beyond the scope of this video. We have separate videos coming up, so please consider subscribing and activating the notification bell if you haven't done so already. And if your company is currently seeking to hire an employee in France, please feel free to book a consultation to talk directly to a French expert about your unique case. We will leave the link in the description. Sie können uns auch gerne auf Deutsch ansprechen. Merci et à très bientôt.